headshot mic on. Hey, well, hello world, and welcome to Raccoon Studios. Let's get this mic down so we can hear. Hold on. You know what? I don't even know if I have. Whoops. Let's put the limiter on. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear me better now. Hi. All right. So, and then we're gonna go back to Google. And it looks like the stream's not too healthy, but we'll see what happens. So, hello. Last day of 2023 in the holiday spirit. And I just to mess around with some stereo stuff, and I came up with the most ridiculous rig without an amp, basically. So what we have, let me see, we're on, yeah. What we have here is the HX Stomp as the amp part, and then the aux Stomp as the cabinet part. In between the cabinet and the amp, we have the Eventide, so that's going to be after all the effects in this HX Stomp. But then I have some effects before the amp, some effects after the amp, and then I have the effects loop running left and right as mono inputs instead of just a stereo thing. And that gives me the ability to put these two fuzzes. You know what? Let me, I'm sorry, top down, top down, top down. There we go. Sorry about that. So that gives me the ability to put these two fuzzes in the effects loop. And because I'm using the air step here, I can turn off both with one switch. So I'll show you that real quick. Once again, fuzzes are in the effects loop running mono on each side, and then we have effects loop, the amp, and the a delay line after that in stereo, and then going into the Eventide, going into the aux Stomp as the cabinet, and this is controlling the Line6, so I can turn on and off stuff. So I'm going to play clean, and then I'm going to put those fuzzes on. Sorry if I blasted anyone's ears off. I put the wrong... Man, I really got to be more ready for these things. But I was excited to do this, that's why. So, alright, now the limiter's on the vocal. Limiter's not on the guitar. Whoops. Alright, so, again, I'll do that so I don't kill anybody's ears. Alright, so we have clean. Both fuzzes are on the effects loop, and I have this switch here and off the effects loop, so I don't have to hit both fuzzes at the same time. So that's pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. So I will let's see, I'm gonna put the screen up now, and Hopefully this stream's going okay. It looks like I'm having troubles, but I don't know. Alright, so we're going to put this screen on, and let's see, here we go. And I just want to show you what the routing for the HX Stomp is. So I have nonlinear reverb in mono, chorus in mono, effects loop left and right, and left is going to be the violet oscillation, the right is going to be the big muff ram's head, and then each amp is the same amp. They're both JC 120s going into the Aux Stomp's JC 120 cabinet, which I have the same miking left and right on each side, and then delay is transistor, and they're both doing a different division, so you can get some, you know, different kinds of rhythmic stuff happening. So I guess I'm gonna go through what I have going on. I'm gonna turn off the Eventide and just play clean, and then start with the effects that are on the actual HX Stomp. Alright, so here we go, and this is clean. So just so you know, when I hit this first button, it's really just, whoops, it's really just messing with that. What are you doing? And with this button, it's the same thing. But, you know, if I had this on the floor and this on a pedal board, then I could put this wherever I want and have this wherever I want, maybe in front of me if I'm singing. So I have two things going to that button, and that is the reverse reverb and the chorus, so that once I hit that button, they both come on, and that is that sound. Then after that, I have the effects loop for each fuzz, so I will turn that on now. Alright, so now we're back over here, and just to show you what's going on one more time, these fuzzes are in the effects loop, left and right, going to two different amps. Those amps are going to this aux stomp. But before they do, before the amp and delay go to the cabinet here, they go through the Eventide. And I have that set up for a mod echo reverb, and I have an expression pedal set up for the expression pedal. And wow. Hey, I am seeing some chat. Is there a multi-tap delay in the HX Stomp? I think there. Sky Borax. Is there a multi-tap? I think there is a multi-tap. And Loch Ness Anthony, awesome. Can you do a video of new HX2203 going into the V30 cab on HX Stomp? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So I will do that soon, actually, because while I have all this set up, I can easily do a video on that. Actually, I've been wanting to do a video on the Marshall in the HX Stomp going into the aux Stomp. And I want to compare it to, I mean, I have my Marshall behind me, and it's not, you know, a JCM 800, but it's a Marshall, so we can try to do some more comparison with that as well. But that sounds like it would be fun to do. And I could also do that comparing the built-in cabinet, I guess, of the HX Stomp to the aux Stomp. It's so hard to say HX Stomp, aux Stomp together, right? So, Brian Zed says, Eventide H9, woo! Yes. And so I got this H9 to replace my DL4. Because I have a lot of songs with the DL4 using the sweep echo and the low res. And with the low res, I mainly use that for its self oscillation, and I would have my expression pedal hooked up to it, and I would get the pitching and self oscillation, and I would do that going into overdrive, and it would just make for some really cool textures going on where during aggressive parts of songs. And but it took up so much room, and this was before they came out with the MK2, so I was able to get pretty close with the Eventide. I won't say it's, you know, exactly the same with the self oscillation, but I was able to get pretty close with it, and plus it has so many more effects. But honestly, for a while I was not that, I don't know, it didn't wow me, the H9, for some reason at first. But I think it's because I also was really into the Old Blood Noise Endeavor Sunlight at the time. So it was like, you know, when you're trying out too many things at one time, it's hard to like really concentrate on one thing. So right now I took this off my pedal board so I can mess with it more, and because I'm reconfiguring my pedal board. So that's going to be another video, but I'm trying to come up with stuff to have a stereo rig, but as of now, I'm still not happy with fuzz going into these things. I don't think I'll be able to get the body that I'm used to getting in a live setting where you feel that stuff going through your body. You know what I mean? So, but not saying I hate it either. I'm not there yet. So, and my wife, who plays bass with me in our band, she's not a fan of the fuzz going into these digital emulations. So I often listen to her because, you know, she's got another aspect to it. So anyway, but yeah, this Eventide's great. I have the mode echo verb on and an expression. So I'm gonna turn off every other thing here, and it's just the amps and the Eventide, and I have it set up for a mix wet thing, and it's really awesome. So here we go. Off. So I could do that all day long. That just going back and forth between that extremely wet to completely dry, because just that dynamic of so far away to right in your face and intimate is appealing to me. You can really affect emotion that way when playing your guitar, and it could help with, you know, maybe you have a drony vocal going with that clean thing, and then when you come up you can get more of a, when you make it dry, maybe you can bring the temperature down or up depending on what you're going for. So it gives you another palette in your guitar playing style, and all these things just really help me mask the fact that I can't shred. But nor do I want to. I've never been a shred. I've been playing for a long time, and I've always just been like a songwriter, guitar player, you know, like coming up with just different sounds for forever, and trying things like that, as opposed to trying to learn 15,000 different scales and stuff like that, which not a bad thing to learn scales and all that stuff, but it's just something that I'd rather make a bunch of mistakes and all that kind of stuff and just find ways to make things sound good. So let's see what else. So just in case, you know, you missed it, the HX Stomp is handling the cabinet JC120, I mean the amp JC120, and the aux Stomp is the cabinet, and that's a JC120. And it's Shure 57s on both cabinets, and they're both pan left and right. And I have effects on the HX Stomp that are in mono, which is a linear reverb and a chorus. And then I split the effects loop for these fuzzes, and they're going left and right. And then I have two JC120 amps after that in stereo, and then the delay. So, and then the delay I can like switch. You know, I could have just put a stereo delay, I guess, somewhere and then had it handle it that way, but I wanted more control, because the cool thing is I can now, if I want to, just completely change this delay to something completely different. Let's see. Let's try vintage. Let's just do the sweep echo and see what happens. Cool. So now we have that, and we can go, where's the mix at here? That's his, okay, here. And we can go over here and switch this to something completely different. How about the mod echo? And I have them same division going on. And I'm just gonna, then I still have my tap tempo that I can mess with. Forgot to turn the mic on. You have all these different ways to affect your sound, and I was not somebody that ever thought they were gonna try stereo rigs, because I just found it seems like it could be more complicating, especially in a recording scenario. But as I've been messing around more, I see, like, especially for me being in a three-piece band, and it's a shoegaze, post-punk, stoner, sludge thing happening. You know, it could be very useful, you know. So my wife plays bass and she uses effects, fuzz, and you know, synthy stuff and delays, and so she can handle certain things to sound guitarish if needed. But you know, we still gonna need that spread, I think. So we're revamping what we've been doing. So we were a band with 2 guitar players, and you know, so we're gonna come up with something different. But you know, I wasn't a fan of the HX Stomp when I got it, but I didn't take time with it. And that's the thing with all this stuff. I feel like you have to take time with these things. They're not all gonna just sound like you want them out of the box. But I will say that as I've been messing with it more, I've become a fan of the JC120 on here, because all I really want was a clean sound amp for my starting point, you know. As you know, I like overdrive sounds as well, but for stuff I'm trying to do right now, I'm just looking for the cleanest signal that takes fuzz well, that I can do my effects and have lush sounds without the breakup when I don't want it. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to fight that stuff. I don't want to have to fight the breakup, you know? I had a Hot Rod Fender Hot Rod Deluxe, and that thing just, there's no way to get it to sound clean. Even changing the tube and putting your guitar in input 2 to get a lower signal going into it and all that stuff. I just never could get it to sound the way I wanted it. So then I got the Deluxe Reverb, and that sounds amazing, but it's still dirty in comparison to an amp simulator. So, you know, you get that push-pull thing, you know what I mean? Like, fuzz is going to sound better going into an amp, but your delays and reverbs are probably going to sound more pristine going into an amp simulator, because you can get it as clean as you want. But yeah, now I really like this thing, and I'm really digging the Eventide, because there's so much stuff in here. And I'm going to do one more algorithm that I really like. And the iPad app works really, really awesome for this. So what was the other thing? Ultra Tap on the H9. Now this preset on here is called Ultra Swell. And this is ridiculous. So I'm going to do that. Let me make sure I have delay off. All right, here we go. That sounds ridiculous. And I have the Strymon Cloudburst that I plan on putting on my next pedalboard build. I know I have too many pedals these days. I'm still paying all this stuff off. But, you know, those 48-month to pay off things for, are solid for musicians. So, if you don't go overboard like I did. But what was I saying? But the Strymon, you know, when you use the Strymon, you can do similar things to it, and it's really good at catching the pitch of what you're playing. So if it's adding the string sound above it, that's great. This isn't doing the same thing as far as that goes, but it is giving you the swell sound, and it's giving you a really cool swell sound. Now this would probably sound better going before the fuzz, but because I don't have a way to put this in the effects loop and switch it around like that, then I can't. But I'm going to try it with the fuzz on now. The other cool thing is I can have the mix, let's see, oh, yeah. So I can have this go in and out just like the other effects. So I have the expression pedal on it right now. And let me turn my mic off. The cool thing is you get the last chord ringing out from the swell while you're still playing the other chord, and it kind of goes over top of it somehow when you're going in between the dry and the wet, and it creates a really, I don't know how to say it, but it creates a way of like throwing me off my equilibrium or something in a way. So let me try this with the fuzz now. Mic on. Damn. Mic on. So as you can see, you can get some really cool textures and then go to abrasive if you want. And being the only guitar player in my band right now, the ability to do that and make stuff sound like there's more than just one guitar player on stage is invaluable to me. So is that the right word? I don't know. English major, I am not. But let's see what the chat has to say. Yes, the sunlight. I like the sunlight too. I also get, paralysis by analysis too. Yes, yeah. I cannot shred either. The HX sounds like my Roland JC120 and 77. Man, I still want to get one. And maybe I will one day. I almost got one a while ago, but And then I'm in a trio also, shoegaze, post-punk, indie, rock band, keys, drums, and me, and I still overwhelm them with reverb. Yeah. Hauling the JC is for the birds. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like, I've been playing for a long time and playing shows since the 90s, so, you know, half stacks, you know, four, you know, and playing in Philly, where there's a lot of playing in Philly and New York and some Baltimore and DC, a lot of shows, especially for smaller bands. You're going upstairs, and if you're a smaller band, you don't have people carrying stuff for you unless you have friends, and the older we get, the less we have people around to help us. So, you know, there's a lot of venues that I had to play carrying up stuff. I mean, my one bass player had the Ampeg, you know, 8x10, you know, that was a beast, especially carrying that up the steps at the Trocadero in Philadelphia was crazy. But, you know, I'm okay with my Fender Deluxe Reverb amp. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too heavy. It's not like a twin reverb, man. Twin reverb is, especially from, you know, those things are heavy, and I don't want to carry that. But, you know, I'm not getting any younger, so if I could get something that I can just bring in with my pedal board, that's it. Boom, plug in the front of house, and it sound awesome, then I'll do it. It's just right now, like I said, the fuzz thing is the only thing holding me back from going full on digital like that. But I don't think we're that far away. What do you guys think? I think we're getting closer and closer all the time, and they're moving at the speed of light. I bet you they could, you know, come out with something if they really wanted it to, but, you know, just like everything, they slowly release stuff, you know, so we buy it and wait for the next thing, kind of like the iPhone. Every year, people, I mean, I don't anymore, but people still wait for the iPhone as if they're that big of a deal. I mean, anymore, but whatevs with that. But yeah, everything's, I mean, this is a really cool setup for me. I honestly woke up, had a cup of coffee, and I was like, let me see what I can do with these two. But the other cool thing about this setup is I have a Boss ES8 and it has MIDI, and instead of using this, I could have that. I actually wouldn't even need the 8. I could get the 5 version, the smaller version, and then MIDI, and I send program changes. I could send on the HX Stomp, I could make what are they called? Yeah, with snapshots. And that way, when I switch settings in the, don't have a split second between the sounds, and you have the carryover of your delay and all, you know, the trail over and whatnot if you're using it that way. So but all in all, it's definitely a good clean setup. You know, if you're playing mostly clean, then this rocks. I do think that the Eventide would probably sound better going into the fuzzes, especially for the swell sounds, because then it could fade into those sounds. I feel like the fuzz going into it sounds cool, but it's not exactly what I want. I like it going into the fuzz. So, but anyway, just wanted to get on here for the only stream of the year. Try reverb, muff reverb. Try reverb, muff reverb. Okay. And sounds awesome. Really inspiring. Thank you guys. So I really, yeah, like I was saying, I wanted to get on here because I was inspired by what I was doing. So I was like, you know what, let me just go live, because then I could just do this and I don't have to edit it. And it's the last thing of the year that I'm doing. So I do have a video that I'm going to be working on coming out Wednesday, but maybe where I'll dive into this a little bit deeper. But let's see. We have the reverb, the fuzz, and let's try that. I'm gonna try that reverb, fuzz, reverb real quick. And I have listened to J, is that how you say it? Yes, because he his fuzz tones and distortion tones are pretty crazy. And yeah, I love that guy. His lyrics are amazing. But I think he goes direct with that stuff, man. It's very Nine Inch Nails, early Nine Inch Nails direct distortion sound to me. I don't know if he's using a cabinet or an amp, so I would try going in that way, and if it sounds like crap, just keep messing with it until you get there, and then maybe throw in some kind of amp simulator plugin or something and see if you can get closer that way. But it sounds to me like, you know, I don't even know if he's recording onto Pro Tools or Logic, or if he's using a 4-track tape machine for that stuff, because I mean, me growing up in the 90s, that's what I did, and that's kind of what it sounds like to me. I used the Boss distortion, what is it, not the heavy metal, but the other one that everybody hates. I use that. Where is it? I got that one. Let's see. I can't find it. Where did I put it? Oh, yeah, it's out there somewhere. But I use one of those Boss distortion pedals, or really heavy distortion and direct. Oh, here. No, that's the heavy metal pedal. Anyway, I use that, and that's kind of the sound you get going direct, but into a 4-track tape. So I'm gonna try one more thing before I get off. Let's see, we're gonna try a reverb. Let's see, let's do, no, I already have the reverb. I'm gonna not do that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do that with Eventide. Let's go to reverbs on the Eventide. Let's do, that's that. Dual verb? What's a dual verb? Let's see what the dual verb does. Alright, and then we have that reverb. Actually, yeah, let's do this. And we're going to switch this reverb for just a regular old plate reverb. Let's try that. Let me take this off. And let's do big. And let's do that. Then, this does not sound like a reverb though. This sounds like a delay. Yeah, that's not a reverb. That's an echo. Let's do this then. Oh, let's see. Black hole. Alright, so I'm going to put the fuzz on reverb before, reverb after. No, it wasn't the DS1. I have a DS1. It was another black pedal. What the heck is it called? Metal Zone. That's the Metal Zone. The most hated distortion pedal in all history. But, yeah. So here we go. Yo, 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 yo. Brian said, "You have the metal zone." Yes, yes. I like it now. You know, it's all I had back in the '90s. So I had a Zoom little processor. They had this little processor that I got from someone, and to control it, he made his own foot switcher for it. And he put it, he was like electronic wizard, really, and he made it with a license plate. So I had a license plate foot switcher for it, which was kind of weird, but it worked. So, but yeah, that's how I was making music back then. 4-track tape machine, Boss Dr. Rhythm 550, and a Zoom, and the Boss. And then I had like some really cheap delay thingies that I would sing through. So yeah, so basically I was making somewhat shoegaze style stuff back then, simply for the fact that that's what I had to use to get things to sound a certain way. And I was, you know, getting stoned a lot back then. I don't do stuff like that anymore, but back then I was young and it was fun. These days, I just play music. But anyway, thanks for sticking around, everybody, and I will yeah. And they're steep. Yeah. So that's just how it was. But so anyway, I just wanted to get on here and share this with everybody because it inspired me. So hopefully it inspires you to get messing around with what you have in the studio or in your room or whatever, wherever, and see what you can come up with. Try everything you can, even if it's wrong. Run the cabinet before the amp. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like in this world you can do all that, you know, without blowing anything up. So try it all. That's what I think. And this Airstep, if anybody doesn't have a MIDI controller, it was on sale on Amazon. That's from Xsonic. I highly recommend it. It's a little, you know, daunting to get started, but it's fairly easy, especially with the HX Stomp. It's really easy. I have a video on how to set it up, so, you know, subscribe and check it out. But it's really easy, and that way you don't have to have a cable. If you sing or whatever, you can have this wherever, and Airstep right next to you, and all that. The other cool thing is I can have the expression pedal set up for this too, and then I can have an expression for this and an expression for that right next to each other, and see what I can do.